Hello and welcome to Fantasy Fast Break, the fantasy basketball show where you get the advice you need in 12 minutes or less. That's just one NBA quarter. I'm your host, Erik Ong. You can follow me on Twitter at Rotomancer. And, you know, it's time to introduce a new episode. I'm flying solo tonight, by the way. I'm without my buddy Marco, who was with me in episode one. He was unable to make the show's dedicated recording time, so it's just going to be me. You know, kind of like Kevin Durant, who had to play last night without James Harden, who, by the way, is entered the league's health and safety protocols due to COVID. He and Giannis Antetokounmpo are some of the biggest names amongst a lot of names of players who had to enter the league's protocols. And if you don't know, well, most of you probably do, that if a player enters the protocol, you're going to have to sit out for at least 10 days or show a number of negative test results before you're allowed back with your team. Anyway, we're going to debut a new sub show for the Fantasy Fast Break, and we're gonna call it Coast to Coast. And in this show, we're gonna do either the East or West Coast. For this show in particular, we're gonna do the East Coast since there's been a lot. Those big names that I just mentioned come from the East Coast. So we're gonna start with that. Um, but a little bit of moves from my fantasy teams in 116 team deep league. I was able to pick up Cam Thomas the day before his game last night, but he clearly underperformed. But on a positive note, I was able to pick up David Duke Jr. in the 30 team deep fantasy league, and I'm pretty stoked about that. Hoping to be able to use him in my matchup next week. Unfortunately, I can't use him this week because it's a weekly roster changes league, but I'm pretty stoked about that. So that was a good move. Pat on the back on my part for that. Anyway, um, moving on. Let's get on with our um, coast to coast East Coast edition segment. All right. So how does this work? Basically, this is going to be a quick fire. I'm going to go through each of the Eastern Conference teams one by one in alphabetical order from their cities and just give some fantasy related commentary. All right, here we go. All right, Hawks. I think Cam Reddish is doing a little bit better right now, and he's going to be a decent value play from 14 team leagues or deeper, especially until Bogdan Bogdanovic is, out for a little bit long. I think he might end up coming back in either late December or maybe even early January. Celtics, Jalen Brown recently came back, and that's a good thing. I think it really is a big deal that they were able to come together, and he and Jason Tatum are a big deal. But if the Celtics somehow don't sort out their mess, I'm a bit concerned for Jason Tatum owners that if they don't make the playoffs or even qualify to make the play-in tournament, he's going to be a shutdown risk, and that's pretty scary. Okay, the Nets. We've pretty much talked about the Nets briefly already. I recommend David Duke Jr., obviously, but my hot take is even though Cam Thomas didn't perform well last night on, i- Tuesday, I think in the end, over the next several games, Cam Thomas is going to emerge as a great value pickup over, David Duke or Kessler Edwards. So, that's that, and that's my hot take from the Nets. Hornets. Yeah, this is a team that's getting its players back recently. Terry Rozier came back, and I think McDaniels is coming back. Mason Plumlee, who I have rostered in around two leagues, is questionable. Headed into Wednesday, and I'm excited to have him back. Uh, Surprisingly, PGA Washington has been disappointed in the last game, even without Mason Plumlee. So there's that. We could blame some foul trouble, but Plumlee, it's gonna his return is gonna cause a hit for PJ Washington. So GMs who have PJ better watch out. Bulls, whoa! All right, it seems like the East Coast has really been hit hard. With with all of these COVID issues. Zach Levine has entered protocols, and because of that, the Bulls are a couple of games were postponed. I have one share of Zach Levine. I was so stoked that two games were postponed, but I think we're gonna have a lot more postponements in the NBA because I don't think this situation with the Chicago Bulls is going to be an isolated one. It's going to happen to a lot of other teams moving forward. Cleveland Cavaliers, I have to say, this team has totally surprised me this season. More than just Evan Mobley outperforming at least my expectations. Jarrett Allen has floored me. He was pretty much, somebody who didn't really impress me the first time around when he, joined Cleveland. But this year, his breakout season in 2021, 22, it's been amazing, and GMs who have him rostered, congratulations. I'm very envious of you right now because he's an elite big man. I officially said it. Congratulations, Jared Allen. You're an elite big man, at least in fantasy basketball. Oh, Pistons. Okay, so Jeremy Grant's injury, long term. We're talking about several weeks. It's going to be a tough guy to stash, especially if you don't have an IL slot. But you know, all of this situation, you've seen some people pick up Hamidou Diallo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it's been Frank Jackson actually, and Saban Lee, who performed well last time around. I think for the most part, we're going to see a lot of Frank Jackson. He's just stepping up in terms of scoring, but he's just a points and threes guy. But out of that lot, I foresee him providing the most value out of those three players. Pacers. Pacers have already officially announced pretty much that they're gonna go for a rebuild, and that's gonna be an interesting situation. I've stashed O'Shea Brissett in 30 team, and I'm hoping that that's gonna be a situation similar to what happened with my pickup of David Duke Jr. recently. But he's one of the guys I'm considering stashing. Um, Justin Holiday is also somebody I'd recommend that would likely stick around if ever the players like Sabonis, Turner, and Levert are all shipped off to other teams. All right, Miami Heat. It's I've Jimmy Butler's been such a headache. I have him in one of my biggest money leagues. The tailbone situation's really hurting, and I'm surprised that the team has been able to pull off wins here and there, even without both him and Bam Adebayo. So great for him. I'm concerned that Tyler Harrow is not going to be able to play because of his recent, I think, thigh contusion or quad contusion. Yeah. So there's that. So we're going to see a lot of Kyle Lowry, and even PJ Tucker is going to have to score and do a lot more work. Milwaukee Bucks, we've talked about that. Giannis Antetokounmpo, even Dante DiVincenzo has entered protocols. I'd say that that situation is going to open up a lot more opportunities for Pat Connaughton, and I'd say even Grayson Allen at this point. But Bobby Portis is going to have to work extra hard manning the front court situation over there. New York Knicks, I was able to snag Alec Burks in my big Roto 8 cat Roto league, but they're a mess. I mean, I just recently saw Evan Fournier dropped in a 16 team league, and that's that's pretty bleak as far as he's concerned. And I agree with the move actually. He's been pretty much, I mean, underwhelming is an understatement um with Evan Fournier. So I recommend the drop over there. Orlando Magic, yeah, I'm just in love with Franz Wagner. Wagner, sorry. He's going to be a great player to come, and he is one of my hot targets for next season. Sixers, I missed Seth Curry the last time. Um, and despite this absence, I didn't see a great game from Shake Milton, which is, pretty much another disappointing thing because I picked him up in at least a couple of leagues. But that said, I'm not, giving up hope, and I think he's still going to do well. Toronto Raptors, they recently had a great uh, game last night. You know, can't I like I mentioned in episode 1 with Marco, I traded away Ojio Ananobi. That hip pointer situation he's got has got me spooked. It normally doesn't take this long for guys to recover, but apparently the news is he's been slow to recover, and there's no immediate timeline for his return, and that's why I offloaded him. Last but not least, Washington Wizards. Um, GMs who have Kyle Kuzma rostered, you better watch out because sometime my gut feel is probably January is we're gonna see Rui Hachimura come back, and it's gonna get crowded in that power forward situation there. And what's up with Bradley Beal? Everybody's probably asking that. Um, is he not playing well because the Wizards are losing, or are the Wizards losing because Bradley Beal is not playing that well? Uh, it's a chicken or the egg situation, and we're gonna have to wait and see what happens to that team and Bradley Beal. But as of now, I'm a bit concerned about him as well. Okay, there you have it, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that quick fire of the East Coast that I was able to bring you. I'm hoping that you'll be able to join. You know the drill. Hit like, subscribe, all that jazz. Any little bit of support for this show. This is, like I said, a passion project of mine, and it is a work in progress. I'm learning the ropes, and yeah, that's it. Thank you, and